Since the signing of the 2015 National Defense Authorization Act last December, Service Members' Basic Housing Allowance, or BAH, only rose by 1%. Over the past year, rental prices for housing and apartments have risen. In the last year alone, the national rental price has risen by 2.5%, but in Texas, that price has risen up to 2.9%. While service members stationed at Fort Hood, Texas, will have to pay a bit more to live off post, there are other housing options. Fort Hood Family Housing is a partnership between Lend-Lease and the Army. It provides 5,700 housing units for more than 6,000 soldiers and their families across Fort Hood. What makes living on post good for soldiers is that both rent and basic utilities is paid out of their BAH.
When you move into Fort Hood Family Housing, your BAH takes care of just about everything, utilities up to a baseline. But the way we rolled out the program is soldiers actually have an opportunity to get monies back. So what happens is when you move on post, based on the type and structure of that house, we give you a utility electric baseline and say if you use up to this baseline, you owe nothing for that month. If you use less than that baseline, then you get a rebate. If you exceed that baseline, then that's when you have to pay.
According to Mr. Williams, after everything is paid for, money left over from service members' BAH is rolled into an investment account. That investment account pays for upgrades to existing homes and construction for new housing. There are some ups and downs to living on post. For one spouse, if families wanted, they wouldn't have to leave post for anything.
I mean, really, a post is basically, it's like a little world that you could stay in. I mean, you wouldn't have to go off post, really, because you have everything that you would need here on post, such as the gas stations, the supermarkets, the clothing and sales, the PX, all that stuff.
While some soldiers might feel that living on post is a hassle, one staff sergeant says that the perks of living on post make everything worth it.
I mean, there's some benefits to living on post as far as like security wise. I mean, you still got your soldiers that run around that cause mayhem. You still got some dependents that aren't really military oriented. But as far as benefits to living on post, it's definitely closer to work. So with gas prices being high, that's one of the main perk that I like.
Living in on-post housing might not be for everyone, but in the wake of current and future cuts to service members' basic housing allowance, soldiers stationed on Fort Hood might want to rethink their housing situations. Reporting for FreddySaid.com, I'm Fred Brown.